The verse in which he speaks about the attributes of the believing people, and he says وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And after he says that the believing people or the people of taqwa are those who have faith in the unseen, they believe in that which they cannot see of the realm of the afterlife and so on. And then وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ, they establish their prayers. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And from that which Allah has given them, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ, and that from which we have given them, يُنْفِقُونَ, they spend. They spend from the ones that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them. The scholars have said that this spending refers to, number one, refers to zakat. It refers to the obligatory fard spending that every believing person who reaches the threshold of zakat must pay 2.5% from the wealth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Now zakat is a concept which is quite misunderstood in our communities and amongst people. Zakat is that once you reach the threshold of zakat, that individual must pay 2.5% of it to the poor. And that has to occur every single year. And how zakat is worked out is, let's say, what's the date today? The 2nd, is it? 2nd of June? Yeah. So today is the 2nd of June and the 7th fast, is it? 7th of Ramadan, is it? Yeah. So zakat begins on the lunar year. So you have to calculate it by the Islamic year or the lunar year. So today is the 7th of Ramadan. Let's say today somebody loses a family member. Let's say somebody loses their father and he leaves behind an inheritance, and one of the sons inherits X amount, let's say £20,000. That's beyond the threshold of zakat. On that person must pay zakat. But when should that person pay zakat? Today, the 7th of Ramadan, is the beginning of that person's zakat year. Every single person has a different zakat year. Your zakat year will start the day that you reach the threshold. So this individual reaches the threshold today. Today, that person's zakat year begins. So what do they have to do? They have to note down in their memory or on a piece of paper, in their diary, that 7th of Ramadan is the beginning of my zakat year. Then what happens? Next year, on the 7th of Ramadan, that person has to look into their wealth and see, do they still reach the threshold of zakat or not? If they reach the threshold of zakat, then they must pay 2.5% of that in charity to the poor. Is that clear? Let's say today, on the 7th of Ramadan, this person becomes eligible to pay zakat. During the year, this person becomes bankrupt, doesn't have any money left at all. Then the person goes through many difficulties and troubles through the year, goes bankrupt, loses business, but then also regains. So most of the year this person, after the 7th of Ramadan, becomes bankrupt. Let's say at the beginning of Ramadan next year, in the first 7 days, this person reaches the threshold once again. Does that person pay zakat on the 7th of Ramadan for what they have? Yes, they do. The scholars have said, and this is a golden rule for zakat, the scholars have said, what is in between the zakat year is not considered. What's considered is the beginning of your zakat year and the ending of your zakat year. So when does this person's zakat year start? 7th of Ramadan this year. When does it end? 7th of Ramadan next year. What matters is today and next year, 7th of Ramadan. What happens in between doesn't matter. So let's say on the 6th of Ramadan next year, this person, for example, sells his house and has £120,000 now, right? On the 7th of Ramadan, the next day, does that person have to pay on £20,000 or £120,000? Has to pay on £120,000. Why? Because what's in between the zakat year is of no consideration. What's of consideration is the day that your zakat year begins and the day that it ends. What happens in between, it doesn't matter. So if somebody becomes bankrupt, loses everything during the year, but let's say today, 7th of Ramadan, the zakat year begins. Next year, on the 6th of Ramadan, this person becomes bankrupt and loses all his wealth.
the next day on the 7th of Ramadan, do they have to pay any zakat? No. That means their zakat year has been closed. When will it reopen? It will reopen once this person reaches the threshold again. Because they lost everything, on that 7th of Ramadan, that's it. Now their zakat year is closed. They don't have a zakat year now until once again they reach the threshold. Once they reach the threshold again, then their zakat year will re-begin. And like this, zakat must be paid every single year. And this is another misunderstanding that people have in the community. Sometimes people think, oh, you know, when the bucket comes around on Jum'ah, if you drop in some money, your zakat's done. Or if you pay in Ramadan, if you give like a few £100, your zakat's done. No, it doesn't work like that. Zakat must be paid on the cash that you have. It must be paid on jewelry that you have. It must be paid on business assets that you have. What does it mean that on business assets? Let's say somebody's got a cash and carry. Imagine this hall is a cash and carry, and there's stock in this cash and carry. Now, this person whose cash and carry it is, he reaches the threshold of zakat, but he has to pay zakat on every single item in this cash and carry. How does he work it out? So today the zakat year has begun on the 7th of Ramadan. Next year on the 7th of Ramadan, this person has to stock up, check the price, the total amount of all of the stock that they have in their cash and carry, and pay 2.5% of that. Is that clear? So another example is somebody is an estate agent, and this person purchases houses to sell them. Purchases houses to actually sell them. This is a business. This person is a businessman buying houses to sell them. Now, when this person's zakat year comes to an end, that person has to pay zakat on the value of every single house in the market. So whatever the value of those houses is, so he's got a house, the value of which is 100,000, another house which is 200,000, another house which is 500,000, he has to calculate all of that amount together and pay 2.5% of that. So if somebody's doing, and likewise, let's say somebody's got a car garage and he's got like 100 cars in there. When that person's zakat year comes to an end, he has to pay zakat on the value of all of those cars put together. Is that clear? Whereas if somebody buys houses not to sell but to rent, then he doesn't pay zakat on the value of the houses, but rather pays zakat. For example, somebody's got 10 houses, doesn't want to sell them, is not doing business of selling the houses, but rather he's a landlord or she's a landlord and is renting out the houses. At the end of the year, he or she doesn't pay zakat on the value of the houses, but pays zakat on the amount of money that they've earned through renting these houses. And zakat is something very, very important in our religion. It must be paid every single year. Whenever, what if you don't pay your zakat on the day, let's say in this person's case, 7th of Ramadan next year, you must calculate it on that day. Your zakat will be calculated on that particular day. Let's say somebody has gold. They have to pay zakat on that gold with the value of that gold on the 7th of Ramadan next year. Is that clear? What if you delay your zakat? The scholars have said, it's fine, you can delay your zakat, you shouldn't delay it too long, such that you don't have money then to actually pay it. You can delay your zakat and pay it later, and likewise you can pay your zakat before the zakat year ends. The Prophet ﷺ took from his uncle, Sayyidina Abbas radiallahu anh, his zakat for the coming 2 years. He took off him zakat for the next 2 years to distribute amongst the poor, of course, because the Prophet ﷺ and his blessed family radiallahu anhum are not eligible, they don't take zakat. Zakat is not permissible for the Prophet ﷺ and his blessed family. So he took from his uncle Sayyidina Abbas to distribute amongst the poor zakat of the coming 2 years. So if you give your zakat, let's say some people want to give their zakat in Ramadan because of course the reward will be much greater. Let's say you give your zakat in Ramadan, but in essence your zakat year comes to an end in the month of Hajj. So what do? You estimate your zakat today, pay it out, then when your zakat day comes in the month of Hajj, You calculate it according to that day and see if you've missed out on paying some of your zakat, then you patch it up and you cover that up. Let's say somebody hasn't paid zakat for years, right? They didn't know, and they haven't paid zakat for the past 10 years. What do? The scholars have said that this person has a debt with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is known as dayn zakat. It's the debt of zakat. So what should this person do? Calculate for all of the previous years that they should have paid zakat in the amount, and then start to pay it. And if they can't pay it all at once, then at least to start to pay it and make the intention of paying it, and gradually put some money aside to pay off that debt of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about zakat very seriously in the Quran, and He says, وَالَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ وَلَا يُنْفِقُونَها فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَبَشِّرْهُم بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا في نار يوم يحمى عليها جباههم وجنوبهم وظهورهم. Allah said in the Quran, and those who store away their gold and silver and don't spend it in the way of Allah, i.e. don't pay their zakat on that gold and silver, Allah said, فَبَشِّرْهُم بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Then give them the glad tidings of a severe punishment. يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ. The day that this gold and silver will be heated up and placed, يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ. It will be heated up, and their bodies will be ironed with it in the fire of hell. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about people who neglect their zakat and don't pay their zakat. This is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has placed upon the rich. He has placed on the rich so that they can fulfill it upon the poor people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 7 or 8 categories in the Quran Kareem of people who are eligible to take zakat. So what's of importance here is that we must be paying our zakat. We must be calculating our zakat. And it's not something voluntary that some charity has to come up and say, oh, people pay your zakat, and you think, oh my God, they've come again to ask. No, this has got nothing to do with charities. This has got to do with you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the poor people. Because on the day of judgment, people who don't pay their zakat won't only have Allah against them, we'll have all of these poor people against them saying, these people didn't pay up their zakat, so basically stand against them on this day. Zakat is very, very important. We must pay it, we must calculate it. You see, do you understand how this religion is a religion of knowledge? People need to have knowledge of zakat, and the threshold of zakat, and what they must pay zakat upon, and who they must pay zakat to, and when they must pay zakat, and if they have left zakat of years, what they should do, and so on and so forth. All of this is knowledge that we have no excuse not knowing. You know, if somebody says, I didn't know, that's no excuse. Knowledge is so mass available now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not give us an excuse if we say, I didn't know. That's not good enough now. We have to know, we have to learn our religion, and we have to get our priorities right. And especially with these two matters that Allah mentions together constantly in the Quran, when He says, أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Establish your prayers and pay your zakat, and give and spend from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة. Allah says, believing people, spend from what Allah has given you before that day comes when there's no transactions and there's no intercession and you can't have any excuse before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين.